to see.
Yeah,
Good to see a bit of adoption in Web 2
yeah,
coming, which I
it's a good
think is
start.
always bullish.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
All right, then our friends at Coinbase, I mean, they are up and down and up and down. The BlackRock news was absolutely huge. They surged 35% in one day with the BlackRock news. And now they've been subpoenaed by the SEC. The SEC wants to find out more information over their staking and also some of their listings, right? So, look, I mean, I think on the one side, a subpoena is just, them, trying to find information or find if there has been allegedly wrongdoing or not. Not that there is wrongdoing, so we can't, be judge and jury here. But the SEC is sniffing around. Remember, Coinbase is traded on the Nasdaq, a publicly traded a firm. So this is it's biggish news, but yeah, just interesting to see what happens here.
As is Voyager, dude. Voyager is also, I believe, a public company, and they've basically gone under. And for me, like I'm thinking I might have to run into Voyager and get all my information just in case they like disappear or something. Because I sold a lot of crypto at a loss to get out of Voyager, just to get out. But I also looked at it as a tax advantage. So I want to make sure I have all my information so I can actually claim those on my taxes because I took some L's there on purpose. But it's scary stuff, dude. And Voyager also offered 9% staking for USDC, 9% for Polkadot, 9% for all these big things. 9% is pretty good for a lot. I mean, it's not as big as like a
Yeah.
200% liquidity pool, but it's pretty good for most people. And I'm not sure what's going to happen. Like, what happens if they come out and say, okay, this is wrong? Like, how does that affect us as the consumer using the staking, right? Like, I don't know how this is going to happen. So we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, look, if they find real wrongdoing, they could effectively close them down. I mean,
Yeah,
honestly, like that process will take decades,
right.
because the legal system with big companies, they just delay, delay, delay. But again, we're jumping the gun here. But I mean, there was a whole issue last year with the SEC and Coinbase, and the SEC threatened to sue Coinbase last September over its proposed lending accounts, which were offering 4% interest on USD coin deposits. Coinbase ended up not going forward with those plans, right, as a result of that. So they didn't do that, and they separated the staking and yield programs on certain DeFi tokens. But now the SEC is coming back and asking for documents regarding that. So it could be something where, my feeling is a company like Coinbase, which is a massive company, has got the SEC already down their neck last year, September. I think they would be very careful with how they put their staking together after that. And I think that this is the SEC checking that it's been done correctly. But my hope and my thought is they probably did do it correctly. But again, I mean, I know nothing. That's just my opinion on it, right?
Yeah, yeah. It's
Especially when the SEC was breathing down their neck, like 6 months ago, a year ago.
yeah. Have you seen the podcast that he did with Lex Fridman, the CEO of Coinbase?
The podcast that
Yeah, with Brian Armstrong.
no.
Okay, so Brian Armstrong went on the Lex Fridman podcast and talked about some of these things, and he talked about the fact that because Coinbase is a crypto company and there's so much money being transacted every day back and forth, he was like, we didn't know how much money we had at sometimes. Like we literally had no clue how much money we had, and so they ended up sticking like 60 or 70 million dollars in cash on the side for situations where we don't know what's going to go on. We don't know if we're going to get uh, you know closed down or something like that. So they've literally got tens of millions of dollars sitting on the sideline in cash. And I'm not sure how that affects things from a top-down perspective of a business and like how that can help them if there's something like this happening or if this one sector of their company gets shut down, like if they'll need to use those funds to do stuff. But it is interesting because they've had to think through some of these things. But listening to that podcast with Brian Armstrong was good. And for anyone who hasn't watched it, I would highly recommend it.